Hello and welcome to Belgium circuit, the Francorchamps, one of the best racing circuits in the world, and we are here for the fourth week of Conelanders GT3 series. And my name is Ilya Babansky, joined in the commentary booth by Mathew Ruda.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, second best raceway after Brazil, after what we just witnessed today.
Shh, we totally are not late, not recording this just now.
Everyone knows. Fuck off and go with the intro.
But yeah, well, third best. There's always Bathurst. Either way,
Sure.
Today we're gonna have a 16-lap race around this circuit. Maestro set the fastest lap in qualifying in Lamborghini. Lamborghini seems to be very, very powerful here with all the long straights. And here for 1 minute car reviews, the car that is just there, Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3, 520 brake horsepower, a bit heavier than the what was the last time? Lamborghini? Yeah, Lamborghini.
Lamborghini, yeah.
Extra 35 kilograms and a bit slower, well, much slower. It takes its sweet time to accelerate to its top speed because it's just a heavy tank. But when it gets there, it is decently fast. I bet it can get Lamborghini on a straight line if the straight is long enough.
Yeah, it's definitely the slower version of the Merc GT3 cars we saw a couple years ago at the Bathurst 12. Them just absolutely dominating. But yeah, in theory it should be equal to Lambo in a straight line, but it isn't, as Ilya said, heavier. But then again, you know, versus the BMWs with some of the drivers that we have on those cars, the weight does balance itself out. But overall, an average car.
As we go to the grid of this race, we have a Lamborghini lockdown of the first row. I believe that's the Holy Moose start in front, followed by Maestro Ponchik, who was 7 seconds behind in the heat race.
First to the BMW's Piker as usual, followed by Cone in the SGC.
Another Glickenhaus, Serrati's fifth, followed by Trampale.
Behind them, you got another Lamborghini BMW combo of Gunsis and Jim Noit.
The last of Lamborghini's Magnet is 9th, followed by me in 10th.
Psychedelic in 11th with NCWG, the first of the Mercs in 12th.
7th line is Neon Tiger and Mr. Tommy's, both BMWs.
Panda behind in 15th with Mr. Bob in 16th.
Team UK car of D-Jump is 17th, followed by Agent Mulder in 18th.
Mach 1 Fireman 19th with Les Cubes in 20th.
11th row is Mars into the 4 and Viperian.
Blast from the back, Rebel Cowboy, and then Powers.
And at the end of the grid is Mr. Ronak, and James didn't take the start.
So yeah, this should be an interesting race. We got a mix of manufacturers. Lamborghini's up in front as you'd expect, with the long straights that this track offers. Anything can happen here. It's a real driver's track. It's a mix of things, so we should see people being strong in certain areas, weak in others. It should be an interesting race to watch.
It's definitely gonna be. It all depends on how terrible the first couple of corners are gonna be. Of course, we have La Source followed by Arouge and Radion that can end in a lot of trouble for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially we got some interesting drivers. Let's just say that. More towards the rear of the field, and the danger with such a slow first corner, the Constantina will bring them up towards the front rather quickly, and we could be Pinball Wizard with a twist and supple wrists, as we got lights now.
We have 4 and 5 lights, and we are still under lights. There you go, we are green in Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We have a 4 wide on the first line, a slow start from both Lamborghinis. They are slow off the grid as Spiker and Condojet try to get something done in the middle of the pack. We have 3 wides, 4 wides, a little bit of rubbing. Oh, we have a car turnaround. That's number 91. That would be you in Backmarkers Racing BMW. I don't think anybody else got spawned there. Maybe we lost someone. Cars are pouring towards Eau Rouge. Going 1 wide, not going double file, as a Saint car would do. We have Trampale and one of the Mercs side by side. We have a lot of side by side action on the Camel Straight out there, as cars will be streaming towards Les Coombs for the first time this race. We might see more carnage there. Mr. Tommy's and Neon Tiger side by side. Whoa! big moment for Mr. Thomas. He saves the car, rejoins between two Team UK cars. It's going to be Dijon and Mr. Bob, followed by Martin to the 4, whole Team UK train. We still have side by side between those two cars, and Mr. Thomas just shoves an opponent out of his way right there.
Yeah, Lacombe was interesting. We have a Team UK wide.
Jump! Oh!
Yeah.
Swiped out of the way
That's it.
into the wall by a Merc. As we see Martin and Les Cubes right there. Martin just... What the hell was that? As we see you getting Sanders again and a big one! Big one!
Holy shit.
Holy mother of God. The cars between turn 11 and
That's not how you
turn
read
12. I think that's... Please see schedules is right there. I bet we're gonna see a replay of that. But I think it's all started with Martin just rejoining into Les Cubes right there, and nobody just carried it off to slow down. We see John, who managed to escape into the wall before the whole calamity started. So I think he got back where he was. Martin is defending from here. That's a team battle for 23rd position after everything went wrong for both of them. John goes a little bit too wide. Still side by side, going through campus. They're gonna go into Stavelot, but Martin is slowing down behind. We have a whole another battle over there. We have Beer and Whiskey car, one of the Mercs, and that's gonna be you after all the adventures right there, side by side. Oh, that's a huge moment for Blanchimon. Oh my God, still side
I'm
by
gonna say that I planned to do that.
Still side by side towards the bus stop and gaining the position from the Beer and Whiskey vehicle, and gaining another position from Rebel Cowboy that went a little bit too wide. Still side by side Beer and Whiskey. I still don't know which one that is. No, he's not fast enough, and I think that's gonna be the end of that battle. But that was a huge moment, and I'm surprised that this 91 car is still not on the wall.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't put Team Radio in this because, yeah, the opening lap was a horror show for me. We'll see replays here of the start. I know what happened in Tarantula. I don't know what happened here, actually. I don't remember. But it looks like...
Full wide from the start.
Moose. Yeah, Moose, I think, got a really bogged start. And Piker got the advantage there.
Maestro didn't get the best one either, as we see Servatis getting spun. Well, I think he only has himself to blame right there. Rejoined way too wide. There was a car there that tried to rejoin. You don't use the whole track in turn 1. As we see right there. Just a, yeah, that's just...
Touch.
A lot of small touches, and 3 into 1 doesn't go, as I think there was one of your teammates, I think it was Panda. And what the hell was that?
I don't know. He was coming over to say hello.
Yeah, neither you or Merc decided to give each other space, and that was not good from both of you. As we see, that's two teammates. And somebody else got collected. Oh my God! I think that this just Viperian did not expect Servatis to be that slow and just got in the rear. As we see Martin completely disregarding his own teammate on the outside, plowing him out of the way, and that's a Merc at an insult to injury. And there we see Martin going still on the grass, losing it on the grass, rejoining into the Merc. There was a lot of space on the track. I don't know why he decided not to rejoin, and that's 5 cars collected. We see that from a perspective of, I believe that's Panda from Team Backmarkers, who was in the rear of that whole thing. We see 2 cars go, and Beer and Whiskey, both cars kinda in the middle of it, and absolutely nowhere to go for the BMW.
Yeah, man, he could have done about that.
He tries to save it, he does save it. Nice piece of a recovery drive there from Panda. We see right there, that's, I think that's Les Cubes and Viperian. That's synchronized spinning if I ever saw one.
I don't know if we're going to get a replay of it, but what had happened to me, what sent me spinning in that one calamity is when D-Jump was spinning, he kind of reversed back out. Nothing he could have done about it, but he did me with his ass. And so that sent me spinning like top.
Yeah, there was...
And then...
Yeah, keep going.
And then after, towards the final bus stop chicane, I don't know what that was. I was trying an overtake, and I clipped too much curb, and I thought I'd fucked up big.
Yeah, I think you went on 2 wheels for a second. As we saw there, Mr. Thomas, while overtaking Neon Tiger, tapped him a little bit in the rear. That's not the most dirty move, but it's not it's not pleasant for the car that's being overtaken.
No, well, getting in the rear when you don't expect it is never really a good thing. I speak from experience. But interestingly enough, is just with all the calamity, I point out, after the first corner, I was dead last. I'm in 17th. Everyone behind me had incidents of their own, so quite an action-packed first couple of laps here. Hopefully things calm down a little bit. Otherwise, I don't know, after today, after the race we just saw, if my heart's going to be able to take it.
Yeah, certainly Spa is one of the difficult tracks right there, and a lot of guys were not prepared there. As you see Mr. Thomas and me getting into the battle, coming into Blanchimont, and Thomas was looking for a space up the inside, nothing there. He did not go for the outside pass and has to slot behind, waiting for another chance. A little bit of a train still going with Neon Tiger and NCWG still behind, and not a lot of gaps right there in the top, I'd say 15.
Yeah, it pretty much seems like everybody's kind of closed back up to one another now that the field's been a little bit filtered with the incidents. We have more people now. It's going to be interesting to see some of the drivers down in the back on recovery drives. If we look at it, myself, Mach 1 Fireman, not too bad. He could probably go on a bit of a recovery. D-Jump, he could recover from that.
Pretty much.
So it should be interesting.
Pretty much the entire rear half of the field right now. As we see, Magneto is defending his place from, I believe that's Psychedelics. A lot of drafting and breaking the draft and such. There's got to be a lot of fights through Camel, a lot of draft, and with Greenhouse having superior downforce, it's not going to help anything on Camel. They're going to use as much draft as they can from the speedy Lamborghini to even stay close to them and attempt to move in Lacoon, and Brussels.
Yeah, no, that series of corners that you just witnessed, one of the ones where SGC has an advantage, and going into the hairpin here, hairpin? Wow. Going into the double left-hander here.
Yeah,
it's not a hairpin.
That's a fucked up hairpin.
They're going into a corner. They're doing shit. As we see.
Speaking of Cervantes, ooh, that's Cervantes stepping the wall again, facing the wrong way. Oh, that's not looking well. Hopefully he waits. No, there are more cars going. That's not what you do. No, oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, and he collects someone from Team UK. That's not how you rejoin.
No. It's a horror show for Cervantes. I do feel for him.
I think it's going to be the end of a race for him. I think he just quit right there. We see from a Team UK, yeah.
What the hell?
Nothing he can really do. He didn't expect him to come across the track. I mean, he could have avoided if he had a great reaction time, but yeah.
Even still, you mess it up a little bit, you're going into another wall.
Yeah, that's very difficult to avoid. Nothing really the guy could do. I think it was Monson again, as he is down to 20s right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be an interesting first for Morrison. He was in a collision that he didn't cause. But, yeah, no, a horror show for Cervantes. Started well up the field. A mistake early on. First corner, actually. And then from there, it just kind of all fell apart. And, well, self-inflicted retirement. So we see a beautiful view here going into the bus stop now. Thomas looks aggressive, but you're able to hold your line. Ooh. Hi there.
That's a bit of a break
too
there.
Aggressive.
Yeah,
he saw what I did
Thomas
this sprint
really
race to Mach 1 Fireman and decided to try it for himself.
Yeah.
Oh, there I am. There I go.
One of the beer and whiskey cars. It's black on purple. It's very difficult to see the number from up front. That's Power Stick 40, number 99, fighting with Rebel Cowboy for 17th place. An okay race for both of them, going almost side by side into La Source. There's going to be an advantage for Merc, but maybe a crossover is in the works right there. You can have a run towards Rouge, but you can't really go too wide towards Rouge, as these two might disagree on. No, the Glickenhaus is looking right behind, has absolutely nowhere to go. The Merc is incredibly wide and can make himself even wider, as, okay, this is the point where we alienate our entire viewer base, but we have to say, this is not how you negotiate Reddy Young. That is a penalty. That is a penalty in every racing series apart from F1 because they have 0 rules. You cannot cut right young like that.
Yeah, no, I believe as Rebel Cowboy cuts himself and decides to just end it all right there. Yeah, no, in pretty much any racing series where rules are actually held to, you don't do that. Now we see you with Tommy's again. It looks like you're going to be the lovely couple of this race. I'm sure it'll end all well. But...
Spoiler, Jesus.
But, I'm trying to get off the spoilers. So, what was I saying? Tommy's, no, Glick,
You were saying
maybe.
spoilers. But either way,
Yeah.
we continue with one of the Scandinavian immigrants racing Lamborghinis fighting with, who is that? That's Gem Knight, so that would
That's
be
Gem, yeah.
Gunsis right there. That would be for 7th position. We get another replay of what happened to Rebel right there. Got a little bit of an overdrive coming into the corner, trail braking, and he was gone as soon as he started turning.
Yeah, trail braking isn't something you typically want to do in a lot of these cars. Their brake bias is set up as well. Well, that was an interesting line.
That's
that
Rebel
was
as
the
well.
the Shane Van Gisbergen line.
Wouldn't losing it again, and in outside wall he goes. Tried to hold it for the longest time. Now that's a loss of composure probably for the second one. Just got
Probably.
onto the grass, probably pissed off about the earlier issue.
Yeah, it happens. You see the red mist. We say this almost every race. It happens to somebody. I mean, you and I have been sim racing for a long time, so as we see a car go in the pits,
Somebody, in the pit lane, that would be
Second
Psychedelics
person.
in another
And a
car,
Merc.
NCWG, jumping from the middle of the pack into the pits. They're gonna survive for, what would be, 12 laps? Yeah, 12 laps on one compound.
it can be done, depending on how gentle you are on the tires and which compound you pick.
Oh,
Definitely
that's
not
rubbing between two BMWs coming into Eau Rouge. That's definitely not what you want to see. I think Thomas is really pissed off about not being able to get the pass done, and is trying. I don't know what he's trying, but it's definitely involving some contact now. A bit of drive. He's looking for the inside. Definitely not enough space.
Why is he?
Why
What
is
the
he
hell?
looking for the inside?
That wasn't the. Well, he's definitely got the pace, but that was definitely not the smartest bit of heads up. Although poor exit from you might give it to him, but you have the insight for the next couple.
Side by side, and more rubbing.
Oops.
Oh,
Touchy.
A lot of negotiation of the corner going there. Has nowhere to go for Tommy.
Then
He's trying to look for the inside line, but he will stay outside. Oh, this is another one. This is a big one. Oh, I think this was a retaliation bump, probably.
Maybe. Well, he gave you a tap going into the right-hand hairpin. I tried to unsettle you, didn't work.
Another tap before a Rouge as well.
Yeah. It's looking like, well, again, it sort of segued from what we were talking about earlier as we see an immigrant's car bombing up the inside of... Who is that again?
Trempale. That's
Trempale.
Trempale. 17.
I can never remember which one's Trempale. I'm sorry, Trempale. I'll get it right eventually.
Yeah, red and white, 17.
Yeah. But it segues nicely. You get into a situation where you
still
you lose
side by
your
side.
composure.
Side by side, and
My
that's
God.
Neon Tiger capitalizing on both of the drivers' mistakes, getting in front. And these are three cars, and Neon Tiger had a poor exit out of turn 16. And we have almost a 3-wide coming into Blanchimont. This is
Oh, dear
not...
God.
I was supposed
Oh,
to go.
God.
Neon Tiger in the lead, side by side, and Mr. Thomas was behind. Oh, everything is going wrong. There is a car streaming towards bus stop. That's not gonna
Oh,
stop.
God.
Oh, airborne over the bus stop into the wall. Oh my God.
What the hell? How did you end up sideways there?
Oh,
Like,
we're gonna see a...
what?
Oh, and another wreck. Oh, Jesus. This is
That's,
all the bumping. This was... Yeah, this was out to end up in something bigger. A lot of bumps, a lot of bad blood between two drivers, and ended up in a big one. Oh, and this is you capitalizing on the mistake of everyone, getting past Neon Tiger and ending up behind Mr. Tommy's. We're definitely gonna see a replay of that one. That was a big, big crash.
Yeah. As we see, I still can't believe he went in there sideways. Like, how? What sort of random sorcery transpired to cause that to happen? But in any case, as we see Agunsis and Gem Knight going at it now. Close racing here, two different cars. Definitely looks like Gem Knight has the pace. Well, or at the very least, he's the best at flashing his lights. Get the hell out of the way, just trolling the shit out of Agunsis. As we see Tommy's now behind Tiger.
You disappeared.
Yeah, if we get a replay of that, then fine. If not, I know what happened, and I'll explain.
There are both backmarkers cars, and there's actually 3 backmarkers cars. There's Panda followed by me, followed by you. These are 2, and we see a replay from Mr. Thomas' perspective. This is what happened. This what started the entire calamity. Neon Tiger getting a little bit of a slow exit out of this turn onto the long straight. Thomas has absolutely nowhere to go. Has to basically settle down and wait for this all to blow off. He's looking for a space. There is still not enough space. Neon Tiger is losing it. He's going for an overtake out of it. Yeah.
Wow. And then hi.
And then losing it again, and then getting done by Neon Tiger up the side. I believe Neon Tiger lost by something. There's Mr. Bob was a part of a collision. We see another one. Neon Tiger getting onto the AstroTurf.
He's off the track.
Yep. That's
not Neon Tiger. Obviously Neon Tiger's off the track, but Tommy's tried to overtake you off the track.
Yep, and came back onto the track, and I think that's Neon Tiger just out of control, absolutely unable to stop the car. And I think, the second one I think was a retaliation crash. Just that was absolutely atrocious. We see from my perspective, just getting
Neon Tiger getting out of the way,
all by myself, and absolutely blindsided, going sideways over the bus stop into the wall. That I don't know how to just commentate that. That was a terrible crash.
And here I am, like, what the fuck?
That shouldn't have happened, and I literally have no idea what Mr. Thomas was doing.
Well, the long and the short of it is he was trying to overtake off the track.
Off the track, rejoining into the car, tags, and off.
He wasn't pushed off the track. He
willingly did it, yeah. And here we see an unfortunate one from Mr. Bob. It got collected by Flying Neon Tiger there.
Flying Tigers generally are not. I think that's actually a unit name for, I think, the Thailand Air Force. I'm not, or maybe the Indian Air Force. I can't remember. Same difference. As we see here, what happened to me, Tommy's braking really early and catching me out, and well, I really had nothing I could do about it.
You also broke a little bit too late, and well,
that was actually my braking point. That was my braking point, and then I had to dive out of the way.
Apart from a terrible braking point, relatively to Mr. Thomas, nice attempt of not wrecking the car ahead and just trying to slide out of the way.
Well, I tried. At the time, I didn't know the exact nature of what he had done to you. Otherwise, I might not have been so evasive. Yeah, that was poor, to say the least. Well, after all that calamity and all that flying through the air, with the exception of me now being closer, everyone's generally within the same area still. So, game resumed. As we see now, well, this never ends well. 2 back markers next to one another. And I don't care about inside outside. No, that's not me.
And yeah, I think Panda just slowed down to let the car by.
There I am.
And Mr. Thomas diving once inside and completing the pass on Neon Tiger right there. I don't think Neon Tiger had a lot of things, a lot of speed to contest the place. As we see again both cars in attempt of an overtake just completely caught Ruda young. And that's Trampel, and there was a big issue between me and him in the sprint race when he finalized the overtake after cutting Ruda young, and I was really disappointed and let him know that. And after the sprint race, there was a big blow-off, and he basically said that he learned the lesson after that, and obviously he's still doing that. So,
well, I'll give it this much as the fact that both cars went off, so it could be the case of one following another in this case. There was no finalized overtake in this example.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully he learned. I mean, the reason we get on people isn't because no reason. Oh, Jesus.
yeah, everybody just extends there as well. Basically, the reason everybody is going off, I believe, is because there are no rules. I mean, there is nothing.
Yeah.
There is nothing enforced, and just like in F1, if it isn't enforced, people are going to use it.
Yeah, I can see that. There's sort of a pseudo-gentleman's agreement in place. I mean, technically, I could have just done Tommy's up the ass in that braking sector, and nothing could have been done about it, but I try not to be a total dick. It's debatable how close I am to that, but, yeah...
Are we talking commentaries or racing?
Racing. Yeah, commentaries, there is no question. But when you have a system that has no rules, obviously you're gonna exploit it. I mean, people exploit the rules that are there anyway. I mean, how many people never have gone over the speed limit in their lives? Nobody, right? So, that's bad enough. And if you don't even have the speed limit in the first place, you'd have people like me doing 160 down the highway. Because, like, well, I don't even know if, like, can I do cargo? I don't know. But in any case...
that's what Germany does, but they do it fine because people actually respect each other and respect the road they're driving on. When people don't respect either of those, you can't do that because it will end in horrible things.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, there is, I guess, a little bit of an element here where, yes, it's a video game at the end of the day. I mean, this isn't real life, and so there's that lack there. But then we even see it creeping into some real life drivers. Verstappen, at the time of recording, just had a phenomenal race in Brazil, but he's had issues at this track included, where just it seems a lack of respect for the other driver and a sort of feel of invincibility, and that gets amplified here. Since we're all in a video game, there is no worry that, oh, I could actually kill the guy next to me. If you see Cone killing his brakes and going a little bit wide there, he should recover fine. But without that fear and without that worry, you used to get a situation where people just don't give a fuck. As we see now. Who is this? Is this you?
This is you versus Neon Tiger.
You on Neon. I swear, I'm part of this team, but the only end plate color I know is mine. I'm like, mine's yellow. That's all I care about.
Mine, I actually don't have one. Mine is cyan, just like the team livery.
Yeah, and then Panda's blue and Ronak is red.
Is red for Canadian. Yeah,
Canada. Makes sense. But then again, I mean, just because it makes sense doesn't mean that I can comprehend it. So where are we? Moose is out in the lead in the Lamborghini. No surprise there. Piker splitting the second Lambo with Ponchik. It's good to see a good performance from him, especially after the horror show that we saw in Mugello. Cone in fourth place, the first of the SGCs, followed by Goonsis, Trumpale, Dreamknight, and Magnet. And then... not many people have come into the pits, it looks like. Psychedelic did.
Viperian in pits right now, and we missed while talking Leskips was in the pits, but it's like 8, so I would assume some people are gonna go half and half, so we're gonna see some pitting soon.
Well, unless you change compounds, half and half is the most logical strategy. With rare exception, I believe in, as I take all the track and more, and you do too. Yeah,
well, now I would also argue not just like the feeling of invincibility amplified by the game, and also the feeling that if everybody else does it, and they're not getting penalized, you are losing out by not doing it.
Yes, absolutely. That's the second thing that I was going to talk about, but I figured my diatribe had gone on long enough. It's the second thing. You get into the mentality, right, where not only is it virtual, not only is it a video game, as we see you in the pits, I think shortly followed by me. I think I did this lap as well, yes.
A lot of drivers, actually. Moose, Maestro, Piker, Cone, Gunses, Magnet, me, you, and Panda are on the pit lanes. Pretty much half the field.
Yep. So yeah, you get in a situation where we already have 4 different cars, and each has their own advantages and disadvantages. We already went off, as we see some more cars coming in the pits. We already went off on diatribes before about the refueling, but we're not going to revisit that. But the point is, you get into this situation here where, well, this guy's cutting the track constantly, not just once or twice. Shit happens. It happens to all of us, but you see somebody constantly cutting like this right here. Cone, I'm sure he's been sim racing a long time. If he didn't have to do that, he didn't have to do it every lap, but why should he not do it when everyone around him is doing it? You get into those kind of situations, and it's one of the reasons enforceable rules help, but it's never going to help that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, when the rules are enforced and the guy next to you gets a penalty for cutting the track, you would think for yourself, even if everybody else is cutting, should you do that? Because you know they might be penalized, and you know you might be one of them. So you stop looking at others and start looking at the rules and just yourself.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying a family friend of mine had mentioned back when I first started driving, actually. Basically, just take care of you and everything else will take care of itself. The idea being, as long as I paid attention, did what I needed to do, then everything else is either down to random chance or you've eliminated all the risk that you could. Same sort of idea here, right? Like in that example you said, well, if you are the only one not cutting, at the end of the day, you'll be the only one without a penalty and you'll win the race. The problem gets in what you see with F1 is sort of a mutation of that, where you have the rule set, but it's enforced selectively and at varying degrees, seemingly for various drivers. Just look at Mexico, where Hamilton cut, got no penalty. Verstappen cut, got a 5-second penalty. Vettel cut, got, what was it, 15-second penalty?
10, but it wasn't for cut, that's what it was for blocking Ricardo.
Which was a bullshit call.
Arguably less dangerous in that situation, because all of them were already blocked out.
Yeah, and I just said bullshit call, but my opinion aside on that call, you have, how do you measure something like danger with a solid one-size-fits-all rule? You really can't do that because every situation is unique. I understand that, but then that leads to this situation here where you have selective application of rules, different intensities, and different all this crap. And so you end up where people are just like, well, I might be able to get away with it, and then they start going back to the same pattern as before.
Yeah, that's a huge issue that has a lot of things people need to think about before, creating rules and enforcing rules for the race series. But one thing I can say for sure is that lack of rules and gentlemen's agreements never work in competitive environment. They might work to a certain extent, as in do not intentionally just remove your competitors, like do not wreck them. But small things like corner cards, just any loopholes or anything, that would be exploited to its fullest because gentlemen's agreement never work in that way. I mean, the drivers will respect each other, but they will not respect the track, and they will not respect the gentlemen's agreement. Yeah,
well, and you run into the corollary to that. Well, this is for fun; it's not serious. But then at the same time, I mean, all you have to do is look at our chat, right? Look at our chat after a race, and regardless of whatever fun, not fun, there's always bitching. There's always complaining about something, and so to some degree, to some level, virtually everyone that I've seen takes this, at least in some sense, seriously. When it's a racing game, everyone wants to be up top. And
people are competitive. That's their nature. I mean,
even if they don't want to admit it.
You can say it's all for fun. You can say that you don't care. But at the end of the day, if you have a massive fight for half an hour and end up being a loser, you will be sad about it. You will be really sad about it. And if you lose because somebody else did something wrong, or because you didn't care about a rule, then you're gonna be really pissed because it's not your fault. You did everything right and you should have been the winner. But because somebody else is cheating, they won. And they're gonna be pissed and they're gonna complain and they're gonna take it seriously.
Mm-hmm. While we're getting a little bit triggered up in here, Goose has pulled a pretty nice move on Neon. The race between Cone and Ponchik resumes. Once again, two manufacturers, different strengths and weaknesses, as we see Neon coming into the pits.
Yeah, Neon
he got
actually, while we were rambling, Neon did not pit and actually held up all the field starting from Moose. Everybody had to overtake him. That might have stretched out some cars a little bit, especially Moose got a bigger lead from Biker and Maestro. But we see here for a couple of laps, that would be Cone and Maestro actually going for it hard. As we see, that's Merc in between Holy Moose and Biker. That would be a lapped car, one of the lapped cars. And actually, Mr. Bob is still in the lead of the race, but he's yet to pit. He's the last car yet to pit as Mathew and Fireman. He's on the pit lane right now.
Yeah, so I think it's fair to say we've said what we need to say on rules and whatnot, and it sounds like the series that you'll be doing, the V8s, will have some sort of rule system. So at least that aspect will be there. And, everything has confines. And if you can't have fun within reasonable confines that exist within every single racing series from casual to pro. That ain't my problem, darling. Nor is it yours. Nor is it anybody's, really. It wouldn't be Cone's if he did rules. But then again, blame Cone, so everything's his fault.
As we continue of the broadcast, which will be the only one fully disliked on YouTube.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we don't really care. We never cared about the PC,
Anything.
EG, and other bullshit letters. Yes. So we say what we want to say, and we probably created this commentary just because we want to ramble and nobody else to stop us from doing that. As we see a battle between Mr. Thomas and NCWG, a lot of Robin going on. Mercs is not afraid to go Robin and more Robin. Ooh, Mr. Thomas getting a lot of enemies recently.
Yeah, he's driving that car like a guided missile. One that's aimed at the leader of the OGs.
And I think Neon is dead.
Yes.
That
Neon,
car should not be going anywhere.
Wasn't there an endurance race where a Porsche driver did the same thing?
Oh
and
yeah,
ended up
yeah.
1980 something.
This
And
is not
anyway,
where we want to lose the car. And this is one of the Mercs, I believe that's what...
Yeah.
I don't see the number from here. One of the Mercs
Yeah.
just spinning it, and again.
judging from the double spin, I'm gonna guess Rebel. Also, the Mercs sound like they're missing a cylinder.
Just Merc things. As we see a battle between Mr. Ronak and one of Team UK cars. I think that's Martin. Yeah, that's Martin. Judging by this.
We don't even need to see the number from the driving. We know who it is.
Well, I saw the sponsors, but that's definitely a Martin move. A dive bomb which went absolutely nowhere. A different Team UK car lost a little bit of traction coming through campus and got into the gravel trap. Nothing big there. As we rejoin in the middle of lap 11, as Cone is still chasing Master, and there is a new factor, well, all new factor that actually got out of the way. There was Mercedes lap 1 that actually brought Cone very, very close to Maestro, and that might end up being an overtake after Maestro got slowed down a lot. Cone is outside looking for a crossover into a Rouge. Doesn't get his crossover, but he is still right behind. He needs all that draft to be able to gain something through a Rouge to be competitive through Camel into Lacoon. He is not too close to avoid running Maestro over, but he is very, very close. There's virtually nothing between them. Cone, nice move. He will be around the outside into turn 7, 8, and 9 Lacoon. But he is very, very fast, and Lamborghini has nowhere to pick the pace from. Cone is a little bit ahead, and Maestro slots right behind him. That's an overtake done unless he messes this up. No, he doesn't. And that's a fantastic overtake from Cone. He was looking for it for at least a few laps and found his spot. This is what we don't usually see, to be honest. Cone spending a lot of years sim racing and basically racing motocross, whatever that is. He is very patient in his car. He will wait for that one move he can pull instead of trying semi-plausible moves throughout every single corner. He will wait for his opportunity, but when it is there, he will take it.
Yeah, sort of the opposite style of me. I will make my opportunity when I choose to make it. More often than not, again, years of sim racing, I'm able to pull it off. It doesn't always work out. It's definitely a more risky strategy, but that's just more me. I don't just sit back and passively let things happen to me. I take the initiative. It looks like I'm about to take the initiative all over your ass.
Another battle. NCWG, he remember pitted early after 4 laps. His tires must be struggling. Chased by 2 Black Marcus Racing, and as we see a bit of team orders, I believe, there, as I'm letting you through. You know, you have the faster car around, and now you're in the lead, trying to get something
in the gravel.
done through NCWG a little bit sideways through the gravel track right there. Indeed.
Traction control didn't work there. I started feeding in the throttle, and I just heard, and I'm like, oh fuck.
NCWG is ahead, but he is losing pace rapidly. The tires he has right now are not working anymore, and it's a matter of time, I think, unless something else happens, just trying to cut Blanchimon as close as possible coming into the bus stop. I know there there's anything there. Maybe. Actually, SWG got very, very wide, actually allowed both of the backmarkers cars to close the gap a little bit. And there is side by side, and I think there is a bump there, bump draft from the second backmarker's car. NCWG left. Oh, that's a nice team move right there. NCWG left absolutely zero space. The car behind pushed the car ahead beyond the front bumper, and the car had just blocked the only available lane, completing the double move from team backmarkers into 12th and 13th.
That's what happens when you sink. I mean, you've been wanting to touch my ass for a couple of years, and I let you do it finally, pushing me ahead of NCWG, and then yeah, just moved over to cover the braking zone and made sure he didn't try to do a move around the outside. We're both by. And...
By the way, side by side into Rouge. That's not gonna end well. No. Oh, that's a clip, and that's into the wall. Oh my god, that's not a dead run.
Yeah, 2 dead in 1 race. Has it ever happened before without like a red flag?
I'm not sure. That would be number 99, Powers 2 for 40, and his teammate.
Well, hopefully he believes in a higher power because he's about to meet him.
As we're back to to Cone Dodger, who cleared Maestro a couple of laps ago, and now he's all over Piker.
Yeah,
that would be the fight for second place, by the way.
It's the same thing that I've witnessed Cone doing before. There are different ideas in how you distribute your pace basically throughout the race. You can't do qualifying laps the entire time. Some people start strong and then back off towards the end. Some try a more completely balanced approach. As we see Cone going around the outside of the bus stop. Nope, not quite. Doesn't have the braking power of the BMW. And not going to be able to go for the switchback. But some drivers just try to go flat on their pace throughout the entire race. And then there's Cone. Cone seems to save himself for later and then blows his load all at once. We see replay of the incident. Who was the Team UK car there? Do I even need to ask?
I don't know. We're gonna see probably one more replay. But it's the case of 2 into 1 doesn't go. That would be number 6. That would be jump.
Wow,
a slight touch. That's enough to send Glickenhaus off the downforce. The wings are useless, and that car is streaming right into the wall, through the wall. Oh my god, that's a serious impact, and I think the car went airborne after colliding with the wall there.
Well, yeah, it would. Well, in reality, those spectators up there probably would have needed to cash in their life insurance, or, well, at least their survivors would have had to. As Cone does the latter of the 3 that I said. He starts off relatively tame, and then just goes for it all in the end, and, well, with 3 laps to go, he's going for it all now. We'll see if he's going to be able to get Piker. The problem is there are a lot of braking sectors here, which turn into overtaking zones, but with the Glick's brakes, I don't think it's going to be able to pull it off. Corner cut again. From everybody. All 3.
Yeah, this is true, and we actually see the leader, the Holymoose, up the road. He is about 5 seconds clear from the entire pack behind him, so unless something happens, he is cruising to victory. But now we see a 3-way fight for podium. 3 different cars, Piker leading the train. BMW doesn't have the best of speeds, but with superior braking power, he is able to control the train by just staying ahead and not giving any opportunities of a dive to anyone. Lamborghini can probably contest with the BMW, but Cone being the buffer, Piker is now in a favorable position for that second place.
Yeah, no, similar to the situation with myself in Nürburgring, with the brakes of this car, and if you can set up your position on the track well, and Piker is doing that here, you can defend quite a long time. You don't have the brakes to do a dive move like the BMWs can. You don't have the power to sort of hold back and then slingshot it like the Lambo can. So Cone's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage here. Also, speaking of people being disadvantaged, Ponchik, after starting 2nd, 4th, and still a respectable slot, still could move himself up in the end. But not the greatest race for him. Normally he's well, then again, I guess it's not really been the greatest series for Ponchik either. I mean, he was incredibly fast in the Miatas, but it just seems like here he's a little bit not quite the maestro. Oh, I'll see myself out.
Please do. As Cone gets a little bit wiggly on the brake and still wiggly, Piker actually decided to go wide, and Cone missed his braking point and went wide with him. As he is actually early on the acceleration and might go for a move. He is on the outside, side by side. This is exactly what he tried to do with Maestro, still behind, still looking for a crossover there. BMW can accelerate early, doesn't have the insane understeer on the exit as we see the lap Merc just getting the hell out of the way. Cone is just looking, showing himself in the mirrors. Will he be able to set up the same move he did to Maestro there? He's in the draft, he's not able to slingshot just as early as he did versus Maestro. He is slingshot now as we see the Merc just getting out of track there. Side by side, but Biker has the inside line. Cone will have to go around the outside. He tries to do that. Oh, he loses it, almost loses it, and has to give up the position, but still stays going the wrong way and not losing any positions. That was a little bit too close. As, by the way, Trempel is caught up to Maestro.
Well, Maestro fell back in
wait.
That's why what had happened to Maestro.
That's not Maestro, that's Gunsis.
What?
That's not
Where
Maestro.
did Maestro go?
Maestro is 6, is down to 6.
What happened to him?
I don't know what happened, but this is Gunsis chasing Cone, and Cone might not know that.
Was it always Gunsis? It was punching it forth.
Yeah, it was. And now it's Gunsis and Trempel that were in the train for also quite a few laps. And there is Maestro behind the Merc.
Yeah. I guess he just had a moment in the bus stop of some kind.
Something should have happened, and we should see the replay most probably. But now it's a four-way dance because both Trempel and Gunsis are very aggressive on the overtakes, and I'm not sure Cone is aware who's behind him now.
Yeah, no, it would, well, I mean, he's usually a pretty heads-up driver. He should probably know who it is, but there's always the chance, well, but then again, yeah, Gunsis might be an aggressive overtaker, but come on, versus Ponchik, I think he'll be breathing a little bit easier now, knowing that Gunsis behind him, and not a rudderless Russian ready to pounce.
I mean, yeah, Gunsis is not gonna wreck you, but he's more likely to overtake you very fast. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay, yeah, alright, true. I get what you're saying now, but yeah, Piker, if Piker can keep doing what he's doing, getting a decent exit out of Radion, and hold the inside, he should be able to always defend against Cone, because Cone can't brake as hard as we see now a battle going on between Neon and who's
NCWG pitted 12 laps ago. His tires must be shot at this point. Neon Tiger pitted lap 12, so his tires are 8 laps younger, and
that was almost a replay of you and Tommy's.
Yeah, that was very close, but Neon will have one more lap as we see Gunsis and Trempel going at it, forgetting about Cone right there, side by side. Oh, smashing into each other! Sliding. Oh, that's a big wreck! Oh, they're wrecking. Gunsis continues. Trempel is still sliding. Not hold the brakes. What are you doing, man? Hold your damn brakes. Jesus.
Yeah, he just tried
to the track. He tries to lose not as many positions. That's Psychedelics going through. That's another Merc. He's not gonna try to race the Merc. Smart move, but he's gonna cat out right behind him. We're gonna definitely see another replay of that. We have quite a few replays to see. But there we see the battle continuing between Neon Tiger and NCWG. Neon Tiger cutting the corner, getting a run. This is one of his last chances to camel straight into Lacoon. He has braking capability and he has that slingshot power. But the Merc is faster by default. They're going side by side, early braking from Neon.
Wow.
Side by side, going through, and he's a little bit ahead. He has to shut the door. He is not able to, but NCWG does not have the turning momentum, and that's a complete pass. Nice move for Lacoon.
I was impressed. I didn't think the Merc was going to be able to make the corner there, as we see, well, if Cone's going to make it happen, he's going to have to make it happen soon. Piker's been covering well, he's been defending well, so we see Cone going off the track.
Stavelot and Kurpol Frere, that's just Blanchimon and bus stop to go. He has to get into draft now and has to make a move happen into the bus stop.
Yes, Neil Blanchimon, yes. Somehow outbreak the BMW. I don't know how he's going to be able to do that.
He's trying to go for it. No. He goes around the outside. No, he's not close enough. That's not going to be enough to take it. As we see Moose taking the checkered flag, as we see behind them, right back to the battle. Cone has a little bit of a better exit, but it's very close to the finish. There is not enough run as they finish as they are. We see Magnet finishing as well, as we see a couple of replays there. That would be Maestro, I think, yeah. This is a bus stop. We see Maestro taking the corner. Ooh, just getting onto accelerated a bit too soon and spinning himself.
Yeah, here's Trempale. Looks all sorts of out of shape here. Is he diving Goonses?
Into Goonses. Ooh. Almost collected each other as Trempale barely managed to keep it out of Goonses' side. As we see another one, this is what happened. Trempale is really out of shape throughout this whole track, but I cannot pin the blame on any of them.
Yeah, no, it looked like Goonses started
into
drifting
each
left
other.
and Trempale started drifting right.
Yeah,
Shit
both
happens.
drifted into each other, and 2 into 1 doesn't go. And
Yeah.
I think Goonses got the better of it. This we see from Trempale's perspective, side by side, cannot see it into the main window. And once they touch, they're both gone. And we see what happened here. Can we see if he gets on the brakes? Oh, he gets onto power, that's what happened. Yeah, he tried to save it, but I don't think you can save it from that point. It would have been a smarter move to hold your brakes there, but all ended well. He did not collect Maestro, who was breezing through without any consideration for his life.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no.
we see Trempale again, by the way. This
What
is
happens? Hot tires. Probably hot tires.
Tires. Oh, saves it. Actually, really nice save, and he's probably gonna get overtaken by the Team UK car. Side by side, he has the inside, but he just lets the car through, and he's still a little bit sideways. Oh, yeah, that's just hot tires. He needs to calm down and just accept his
Finish the race.
And that's Rebel Cowboy also overshooting. Oh, a little bit.
A lot of lazy spins.
In front of Trempale and Team UK car as some more cars finishing the race. As we go to our victor, the Sweet 16. Jesus Christ. The Holy Moose, the Swede in a Lamborghini Team Scandinavia and Immigrants getting another win.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
Oh, that was me trying to whistle the Swedish anthem, but yeah, no, it probably came out horrible on the mic. Oh, then again, so does my voice, so nothing new there. As we're going to get a nice ride along of the nose of the race winner, the Holy Moose, while we run you down the results. As I just mentioned, Holy Moose on top, Biker able to defend in the end for P2, Cone Dodger rounding out the podium in third. Goonses follows him in Ponchik after the adventures of Trempale, Gem Knight, Magnet OS, Psychedelic Mr. Bob, and then, well, the man, the myth, the legend, the holy shit, he went flying, Trempale.
Yeah, the rookie made a couple of rookie mistakes, a couple of big rookie mistakes, followed by Mr. Thomas, another rookie in 11th, followed by Agent Mulder, Georgian.
Technically a rookie.
Neon Tiger, NCWG, Panda gets 16, followed by Jump, Molson, Mr. Roanoke gets 19th, and run out at top 20 is Mac 1 Fireman.
And then Power Stu 440 in 21st, Rebel Cowboy S&B after a few extra track adventures, let's say. Les Cubes, Viperion 4 laps down, and then Servatus retiring after what was a horror of a start. 14 laps down, and in 25th. So now, we can all breathe.
That was a very interesting race, a lot of wrecking, a lot of overtaking, a lot of everything on... Well, we said Spa's gonna be a great track. It was a great track. It allows for these kind of challenges which both succeed and fail. As we go to season standings after 4 races, Master Ponchik on top, followed by Gunsis 2 points behind. Another point behind is the Holy Moose, another point behind is Spiker, another point behind is Mr. Bob, another 3 points behind is Gem Knight. Jam-packed top 6, Magnet is 7th, followed by Conelanders, Trempale, the best rookie, in 9th, and Psychedelics in 10th.
Yes, and Trempale is still the best rookie, as, well, you might guess from being the best on, yeah. I'm just going to move on. Mr. Tommy's in 2nd, Carl PC 200 in 3rd, followed by Smart Pipe, Viperion, Ronak, wow, sorry Ronak, oh god, he's going to kill me, and then Viperion, rounding out your rookie standings. And then for the teams, go for it.
Yeah, as for teams, Space Kid is just 1.83 points ahead of Scandinavia and Immigrants after this race. Red Bull in 3rd, 6-point advantage over Team Dang. Team UK and Backmarkers Racing 5th and 6th, 2.33 points between those, and 0.11 points behind the bottom 2, Beer and Whiskey and American Irish Racing.
For the team standings, we have the Lamborghini Huracan up in top with 222, quite a ways away from the BMW in second, with SGC in third, and Mercedes, well, doing what Mercedes GT cars do, rounding out the ass end of the field. So that was a fun race. My heart needs a break, and I will see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye. We still have another 5 seconds.
Ah, shit. Fucking editing, man.